Leo and Clara had what everyone called a picture-perfect marriage. They lived in a charming suburban house, complete with a white picket fence and a golden retriever named Max. To the outside world and even to Leo himself, their life was idyllic. Leo, a dedicated architect, worked long hours, pouring his heart into his projects, all to build a beautiful future for them. Clara, a freelance graphic designer, worked from home, giving her the flexibility to manage their life and, as Leo believed, pursue her passions. He trusted her completely, her every word a gospel truth he never thought to question. Their routine was comfortable, predictable. Leo would leave early, kissing a sleepy Clara goodbye, and return late, often to a dinner she'd lovingly prepared. He cherished these moments, these small reassurances of their bond. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to shift. Clara started having more and more late-night work sessions with clients. "It's a big project, honey," she'd say, her voice tired over the phone. "The deadline is just brutal." Leo, ever supportive, would just tell her to take care of herself and not to work too hard. Then came the girls' nights out, which became a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly event. "We're just blowing off steam, you know how it is," she'd laugh. Leo would smile, happy she had friends to lean on. When she started taking weekend yoga retreats to find her center, Leo encouraged it, thinking it was a healthy way for her to de-stress. He believed her every excuse, every explanation. Why wouldn't he? She was his Clara, the love of his life. He was so wrapped up in his work and his trust for her that the subtle changes didn't register as alarms, but just as the natural evolution of their busy lives. He was building their future, and he thought she was too. He was blind to the cracks forming in their foundation, cracks that were about to be shattered open. One Saturday afternoon, Leo was mowing the lawn, enjoying the rare sunshine. His next-door neighbor, a kind, elderly woman named Mrs. Gable, was tending to her roses. She'd lived on the street for 40 years and had a reputation for being both observant and straightforward. She waved Leo over to the fence. "Leo, dear," she began, her voice gentle but firm, "can I have a word with you?" Leo shut off the mower and leaned against the fence, expecting a chat about her prize-winning petunias. But the look in her eyes was serious, laced with a pity that made his stomach clench. "I don't mean to meddle," she said, choosing her words carefully. "But I've been worried about you. I see things, you know, from my kitchen window." Leo's heart began to beat a little faster. "What things, Mrs. Gable?" he asked, a sense of dread creeping in. She sighed, her gaze unwavering. "Clara, she's not always going where she says she is. The yoga retreats, the late work nights. Leo, there's a man, a different car, a sleek black sedan, picks her up quite often, just around the corner, out of sight from your driveway. They don't look like they're heading to a yoga class." Each word was a hammer blow to Leo's carefully constructed world. He felt the blood drain from his face. The black sedan. He'd seen it once or twice, parked down the street, never thinking anything of it. "A man?" he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. Mrs. Gable nodded grimly. "I'm so sorry, dear. I debated saying anything, but I couldn't stand to see a good man like you being made a fool of. You deserve to know the truth." The truth. It was a word that suddenly felt foreign and terrifying. He thanked Mrs. Gable, his voice hollow, and walked back to his house in a daze. The sun felt cold. The chirping birds sounded like a screech. And his picture-perfect home suddenly looked like a movie set, a facade hiding a devastating reality. Doubt, once a stranger, was now his constant companion. Mrs. Gable's words replayed in his mind, poisoning every memory, every excuse Clara had ever given him. The late nights, the weekend trips, they were all tainted. He needed proof. He couldn't just rely on a neighbor's observation, as well-intentioned as it was. His mind, the logical architect's mind, needed concrete evidence. The following Friday, Clara announced another girls' night out. Her smile seemed forced, her kiss fleeting. "Don't wait up, honey," she said, grabbing her purse. "It'll be a late one." This time, Leo didn't go back to his blueprints. A cold resolve had settled in his chest. He waited 15 minutes, then got in his car and drove to the corner Mrs. Gable had mentioned. And there it was. The sleek, black sedan, idling under a streetlight. He watched, his heart pounding against his ribs, as Clara walked briskly to the car, glanced around, and quickly got into the passenger seat. The car didn't head towards the city, where the bars and restaurants were. It turned in the opposite direction, towards a quiet, more secluded part of town. Leo followed, keeping a safe distance, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. The sedan pulled into the driveway of a modern, stylish house he didn't recognize. The lights were on, casting a warm glow. He saw them get out of the car. The man, tall and well-dressed, put his arm around Clara's waist, and she leaned into him, laughing at something he said. They walked to the front door, their silhouettes framed in the doorway before they disappeared inside. The sight was a physical blow, knocking the air from his lungs. There was no girls' night. There was only a man, a house, and a life his wife was living without him. The architect in him saw the blueprint of his marriage, not just cracked, but utterly demolished. The foundation of trust he had built for years had been bulldozed in a single night. Leo drove home, the 10-minute drive feeling like an eternity. The house was silent, empty. Max, their dog, whined softly, sensing his master's distress. Leo sat on the couch in the dark. The image of Clara and the other man burned into his mind. He didn't feel anger, not yet. Just a profound, crushing emptiness. All the small signs he'd ignored now clicked into place, forming a mosaic of deceit. Her phone, always angled away from him. The vague answers to his questions. The new, expensive perfume she wore. He had been a willing participant in his own deception, too trusting to see the truth right in front of him. He waited. Hours passed. Around 2 a.m. he heard her key in the lock. Clara walked in, humming a cheerful tune. She flicked on the light and jumped when she saw him sitting there in the dark. "Leo, you scared me. I thought you'd be asleep," she said, her smile faltering slightly. "How was girls' night?" he asked, his voice flat, devoid of emotion. "Oh, it was fun. We went to that new Italian place, you know, the one I told you about. The pasta was amazing," she rambled, taking off her coat. Leo stood up. He walked over to her, his movements slow and deliberate. He looked directly into her eyes, searching for a flicker of honesty, of remorse. He found none. "Clara," he said, his voice quiet but heavy with the weight of his discovery, "who is he?" The color drained from her face. Her fabricated story crumbled. "What? What are you talking about?" she stammered, her eyes darting around the room looking for an escape. "Don't lie to me anymore, Clara. I saw you. I saw the car. I saw the house." The silence that followed was deafening. Clara's facade finally shattered, revealing the guilt underneath. Tears welled in her eyes, but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of being caught. She began to offer a flurry of excuses, a torrent of desperate justifications. "It just happened. You were always working. I was lonely." But to Leo they were just empty words. The trust was gone, and without trust, there was nothing left to salvage. He knew in that moment, standing in the living room of their once perfect home, that his marriage was over. The picture had been torn, the frame broken. It was time to start building a new future, one for himself, on a foundation of truth. Thank you so much for watching. It's stories like these that remind us of the importance of honesty and communication in any relationship. If you were moved by this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.